Welcome back to KP's Kingdom, cooking with KP, and I've got a dilemma today. I've got lots of leftovers. I've got drumsticks and a cutlet. I've got some leftover fries, and I've got some leftover chicken tenders. Alright, go through the cupboard. What can I find? I found some microwave brown rice. I found an onion. The cupboards are bare in this place at the moment. I found some eggs, and as always, I've got bacon in the freezer and some frozen green peas, and I also had a can of mini corns. But what can I cook with all of that? Times are tough in the KP household this week. Alright, I'm going to get myself a nice big deep bowl, and let's get into it and see what we can create. I'm going to strip the chicken off the bones. The chicken cutlet is basically the thigh section of the chicken, and it's an inexpensive cut. It's a great cut to use up, so I buy these a lot, and they end up incredibly juicy, and you can do a lot with them. Drumsticks, really cheap cut, and again we do a nice little southern fried chicken with these. So all we want to do is cut these up into small pieces, and we're going to put those into the bowl. Now for our tenderloins, and these are just a pre-bought tenderloin. We're having a lazy night, so we bought these. I didn't have to cook, and we're just going to cut these up and put those into the bowl as well. And now for our fries or chips, depending on what part of the world you're from, just cut those up in small pieces, and we're going to throw those in the bowl. Everything's there, a little bit of white pepper on top, and I'm going to stick that back in the fridge. I'm going to get my onion, and I'm just going to cut that up as I normally do, which is a quarter cut. Okay, I'm going to put that aside as well. This is a very unconventional type of meal, but I'm showing you how you can create something out of nothing. Alright, here's my can of baby corn. Just going to cut these up nice and small. Mind you, these canned baby corns, you need to rinse them out well. Alright, get rid of all that saline, all that salt, all that brine that they sit in. My bacon, it's still a little bit frozen. I'm just going to cut that down the center. That's 4 strips of streaky American style bacon. I'm just going to cut these up into small pieces as well, and we're going to put these aside, just like I'm doing there. Alright, again, these wooden chopping boards, you need to try and keep them as clean as possible as you go. Our eggs, yes, I use my knife to crack that egg, and it works for me. I know that most chefs would say not to do that. I crack that in a small bowl, give it a sniff test, make sure it is still fresh. You can buy eggs from your supermarket, and they might not be as fresh as you think they are, even though the expiry date says you're fine. I've been caught out before, and when you're doing a bunch of eggs like this, it only takes one egg to ruin all the good ones. Alright, we're just going to whisk these up using a fork, and we want to make sure all that white and all that yolk is beautifully incorporated and really smooth. So I take my time doing this, I want it right. I've got my pan with a little bit of oil. This is a non-stick pan. Even so, use a little bit of vegetable oil or canola oil and just rub it around with a bit of paper towel. I'm going to put in some egg, and all we're going to do is tilt the pan to spread the egg mixture around. If you haven't got enough like I had there, just put a little dash more in, just like that. Swirl it around, keeping it on the heat, and we want to slowly cook that egg and get an even layer of our egg mixture, just like I'm doing there. Just keep swirling, keep it moving. We don't want any wet parts of the egg once we make this omelette up. Alright, I'm starting to fold the egg over, and I'm just rolling this into an egg log. The amount of egg that I mixed up was enough to make 2 of these, and you will need 2 of these little egg rolls like I'm doing here. So just keep working it through slowly and try and get every part of the egg to join in together. I'm just sealing these off, and what I'm actually looking for is a little bit of a brown crust, just like that. Alright, I think we're getting pretty close. I've already cooked my second omelette. It's already sitting in the distance there, you can see that. I've turned my heat back up. I've put a little bit of oil back in the pan, and I'm putting my onions into the pan. And all we want to do is we want to give these a soft caramelization, not a real dark colour, but we want them just a nice little translucent type cook. So I'm putting this in fast forward for you. I add a little bit of white pepper as I go, a little bit of salt. That's going to help bring some of the juice out of the onion, and I'm adding a little bit of garlic powder. Just changing the flavour profile as I go. As usual, I put my Zhaojing wine or sherry, or you can use mirin, on top of the onion there. And again, it just gives a beautiful sweet flavour to the onion. Some people don't like the strength of an onion flavour. The Zhaojing wine or sherry will cut through that a little bit and give you a sweeter product. And it's definitely an amazing fragrance in the kitchen. Alright, we're going to take these out, put those aside. We're going to cut our omelettes straight down the centre like that. Very simple. And I'm just going to cut these into little pieces. It'll be little cubes of omelette. And I'm just going to stick that in the bowl that has the onion in it. Okay. I've got all my meats and my fries and everything else, and I'm adding about 5 tablespoons of oyster sauce. Oyster sauce you can now buy at most supermarkets or an Asian supermarket if you need to. Here in Canberra, Australia, we even have some delis that sell it. And all we want to do is just mix the meat that we've already cut up with that oyster sauce. It's going to give a different flavour profile. If you haven't tried oyster sauce, definitely worth trying. It is made from oysters, believe it or not, but I'm not sure what else. It's not as strong as soy. It's a little bit sweet, but it's got its own unique flavour, and it's great to use with any vegetables. And what I'm looking for was a slightly different flavour without having to go real heavy using a soy sauce. Alright, I've put my cut baby corns into my little big electric fry pan, and we cook those off for about 3-4 minutes, again on a medium to high heat. And now I'm adding my bacon. And the problem with this fry pan being stainless steel is things do stick to it. I'm adding in my packet of microwave brown rice, and the brown rice does have an oil content in it, the microwave version does, and it does actually work out quite well if you're in a hurry to try and make a fried rice or a meal. Yes, I do add a little bit of oil along the way, and you will end up with some of the product sticking to the bottom of your electric fry pan if you have one like I do. If you have a non-stick one, you won't have any issues. We're adding in all of our meats that have been marinated in our oyster sauce, and we just continually stir it. That's the reason why I do my prep beforehand for something like this. I can't take my eyes off it. A little bit more Zhaojing wine. It's not going to hurt. It's just going to add more flavour. We're adding in some squeezy garlic, or you can add in just a crushed clove or 2 of garlic. Again, just to beef this flavour up. In goes our egg and onions. And believe me, this was starting to smell amazing at this point. And all I had was leftovers and a couple of things in the cupboard. Some soy sauce. I use Kikkoman. You use whatever you like, but Kikkoman is somewhere between a light and a dark soy sauce. Our frozen peas go in. That's around about 3/4 to a full cup, somewhere around about there. And we keep mixing that through. A little bit more white pepper straight on top. And we're getting pretty close to being finished. And look, I cooked this with a broken knuckle. How about that? Time to play it up. And this ends up being a fairly light meal, being the brown rice, low GI, so it is sort of pretty good for you, even though we're using fried chicken as our base. Anyway, I want you to try and make this at home. Thank you so much for watching this. If you like this video, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you next time. Bye!